episode of Star Wars Lore ASMR, where we pick a topic in Star Wars and dive deep into it while doing ASMR with various items related to that topic. Today we're doing a video about Domino Squad, and particularly the story of Echo and Fives, as they are the two main survivors of the squad, with notable stories behind them. Just some general reminders before we begin. There will be spoilers on any part of Star Wars, including movies, shows, books, comics, games, and anything that you can think of. Second, this episode is canon only. There is, as always, more material in Legends, but I'm not pulling from that for this video. Okay, so now, before we begin, I'll give a brief overview of the items that we have. So we have Vintage Collection, 3.75 inch, Echo, Jesse, who's just kind of here just because, and Fives. So here they are in their ARC Trooper armor, and these came in this box, which has a really nice, if you can see it, a really nice portrait of them. I don't know why it's like blacked out right there. I think it's just kind of how the light hits it. But anyways, and here's the front. So they were, of course in here. And I somewhat regret taking them out because, I do like having a lot of stuff mint in box, but I decided to, and I can always put them back in if I want, because I always make a point of opening Vintage Collection stuff such that it doesn't destroy the box, but there's that. Keeping with the theme of Vintage Collection, I have this 501st Legion Clone Trooper in the package. I have a Black Series Echo. The don't ever talk to me or my son again type of deal. I have a 501st Legion Clone Troopers Lego set. A Black Series 501st Colored Jet Trooper. Our usual Star Wars logo, and also our usual picture printouts. Which we'll talk about as we get to it. So anyways, let's start. With how we normally start, and I'm also going to be a little bit more deliberate with chapters. Like, I think I'm gonna kind of put a banner on screen to sort of separate the different phases more, and I think I'll try to do that moving forward. So without further ado, let's get into the video with Chapter 1, Domino Squad's training on Kamino. We begin our story as all clones begin theirs on the ocean planet of Kamino. The 5 clones in Domino Squad were created in the cloning facilities using the DNA of Jango Fett and they grew up and trained within these facilities until they were eventually sent off to fight for the Republic. In this particular case, we joined a group of clones that was not in the first wave that followed Yoda to Geonosis, but rather were finishing their training sometime within a year or so from the start of the Clone Wars. However, Domino Squad was particularly special, primarily because of its notably lackluster performance during training. The members of Domino Squad were CT-275555, also known as Fives, CT-1409, also known as Echo, CT-4040, also known as Cut Up, CT-00-2010, also known as Droid Bait, and CT-782, also known as Heavy. There isn't much information on their life and activities prior to the end of training. However, they certainly went through what most clones do, a combination of physical and mental training to prepare for battle starting from a young age. Jumping in, the first time, chronologically, that we see Domino Squad is in training for their final trial. So let me show. Take the pictures here. So here's them in their training gear. Domino Squad is running a scenario of assaulting a citadel and is pinned down by heavy droid fire. Echo is chastised by the other clones for repeating the order to push forward, hence why they call him Echo, for always repeating orders. Meanwhile, Heavy, wielding his Z6 rotary blaster cannon, breaks formation and pushes forward recklessly. All the while, the clones bicker at one another, and the Jedi General Shaak Ti and the hired bounty hunter trainers named Brick and LS watch on disapprovingly. Just a quick side note. In general, the trainer Brick wants to fail Domino Squad immediately and send them down to maintenance. LS wants to do the opposite and keep giving them chances. And Shaak Ti, who is the Jedi in charge of all clone training, is more logical and in the center of the two. Anyways, all members of Domino Squad are wiped out in the training routine because of, as Shaak Ti puts it, their short-sighted selfishness and lack of unity. As they're leaving, they pass 99, a malformed clone assigned to maintenance, cleaning up the training area, who will become very relevant to their story later. Back in the barracks, the squad gets into a fight before Master Chief Brick breaks it up, tells them that even the Bad Batcher 99 has more sense than them, and says Domino Squad is a waste of his time. Later, 3 ARC troopers named Colt, Havoc, and Blitz come to Kamino to oversee the final trial of the troops, as kind of an inspirational, you can be like me type of deal. And Bravo Squad goes first and succeeds. Domino Squad goes next, and they are sloppy, but do actually get farther than normal. However, they still end up failing, because they leave a trooper behind. 2 of the Domino Squad troopers go to Shaak Ti to request a transfer. Cut Up is beaten and chastised by Brick for being, well, a cut up, and Heavy talks him out of it, reminding him that they're a team and that they're not just numbers, giving him the inspiration that he needs to succeed. The next day, Shakti gives Domino Squad a second chance at the trial, and they enter the Citadel. This time, they work together and do significantly better, but things go awry as they find they don't have their ascension cables to get up the Citadel. It turned out that Brick took them to sabotage the team, as he told Cut Up the night before that he would never be in the army. Shakti allows the trial to continue since adversary in war is expected, and the squad devises a tactic to use the gun emplacements to climb the Citadel. They make it to the top, impressing the traitors, and manage to graduate from Kamino. Afterwards, Heavy thanks 99 for his help and gives him his medal for the next time that he sees him. And with that, Domino Squad and the rest of the troopers in this batch march on to the Venator to join the war. Chapter 2: The First Mission on Rishi Moon. Now in the Grand Army of the Republic, Domino Squad, led by Sergeant O'Niner, is stationed alone on Rishi Moon at a communication station that monitors Kamino, which is vital to the Republic to prevent a surprise attack. The clones are somewhat going stir-crazy. The station is very quiet, remote, and their tasks and watches are repetitive. A meteor shower is detected, and the clones raise the shields, although unknown to them at the time, the so-called meteors were actually landing pods for commando droids. The clone lookout is killed before raising any alarm, and the droids are able to get the door open and attack the base, killing Sergeant O'Niner and, unfortunately, one of the members of Domino Squad, Droid Bait. The remaining 4 clones disable the all-clear signal and flee through the ventilation shaft. However, the droids turn it back on and signal General Grievous to begin the attack on Kamino. Outside the station, on the cliffs of the moon, another member of Domino Squad dies when a giant eel attacks and chomps him. A very unfortunate way to go, and that was Cut Up. So we have Fives, Echo, and Heavy left. Quite fortuitously, Rex and Cody are on a circuit to inspect outposts and arrive on Rishi Moon. The droids attempt to trick them, but they are suspicious and on high alert, and when Rex sees Fives, Echo, and Heavy shoot a droid attack flare, he executes a droid disguised in clone armor, and the other droids attack. Rex and Cody regroup with the remainder of Domino Squad, and another eel attacks, but Rex is able to kill it this time, and then make introductions with the new troopers. Rex finds out that they are shinies, that is, both them and their armor are shiny and new, and he places his blue eel blood covered hand on Echo's chestplate, leaving behind a handprint that will continue to be on his armor for the remainder of his time in the Grand Army of the Republic. So, this is on his ARC Trooper armor, so it's not this exact handprint. It's on his Phase 1 armor, which I can show it in just a second. You can see it right there on his chest. But once he gets upgraded to ARC Trooper armor, he puts the handprint back. The newly formed team infiltrates the base, and Fives is hit in the firefight, but is not killed. They are able to kill all the droids in the station control room, but the Separatist fleet on the way to Kamino passes overhead and sends down reinforcements. The clones decide to destroy the outpost, which will remove the locked all-clear signal, and they begin prepping liquid Domino to create an explosion as the droids march forward. The droids attack and the clones defend valiantly. However, when the detonator isn't working properly, Heavy stays back and, with his rotary cannon, defends against the droids while being hit several times, and finally decides to sacrifice himself and manually detonate the explosives, destroying the station. Then, thanks to Heavy, the all-clear signal is removed and Grievous's fleet is discovered and attacked by the Republic fleet until they flee, saving Kamino for now. Back on the Venator, Anakin and Obi-Wan thank Fives and Echo, and although the two are apprehensive to accept their honor, Rex tells them that they did well and has them join the 501st. Chapter 3: Fives and Echo in the 501st. Also, I think you guys might be able to hear that. I'm not sure, but it just started raining quite hard. So, there's going to be some rain sounds incorporated in now. Hopefully it sounds okay. Anyways, so we will continue the story of Domino Squad through Fives and Echo, now absorbed into the 501st Legion. Later in the war, about 1 year or so in, Fives, Echo, and the 501st return to Kamino to begin defense preparations for an incoming separatist attack discovered from intel that was intercepted. Fives and Echo, now in their blue accented 501st painted armor that you can see here, arrive on Taboka City and take in the nostalgia of their training, and they end up running into 99. 99 remembers them and asks about Heavy, but they tell him that Heavy sacrificed himself heroically. 99 then shows them Heavy's medal and asks how he can help in the defense. While the space battle begins, the Separatists secretly launch aqua droids and assault craft into the water, which then begin their attack of the city. Echo and Fives report to ARC Trooper Havoc, who sends them up on the bridge to take a sniper position. As the battle rages on and wave after wave of droids attack, 99 is delivering weapons to the clones, and on his way past, Havoc tells him he should get out of here before he gets shot and dies. Havoc gets shot and dies. assassin, Asajj Ventress, inside Taboka City. Meanwhile, Echo and Fives are in a defensive position on the bridge, single-handedly holding off dozens of droids, and 99 arrives to bring them ammo, right before droids begin to attack from behind. Fives uses a grenade to destroy them, and then a group of cadets emerge, and Fives, Echo, and 99 decide to escort them to the barracks. They arrive in the barracks and meet up with Rex and Cody, where they decide to make a stand against the droids. 99 says they can restock at the armory, and he, Cody, and Rex head there to retrieve the weapons. The droids then arrive at the barracks and begin their attack, along with General Grievous. However, Kenobi engages Grievous and pulls him out of the fight with the clones. Inside the barracks, Rex, Fives, Cody, and Echo hold off the droids while 99 supplies them with weapons and grenades, and the cadets use the sleeping pods to surprise attack from above. 99 goes to get more grenades, and he is hit in the leg. And upon seeing this, Fives runs out in front to try to destroy the droids and distract them from 99 out in the open. Unfortunately, 99 is hit twice more and goes down. Asajj Ventress, who is fighting Anakin, and General Grievous, who is fighting Kenobi, are both able to flee, and the droids are pushed out of the city. After the battle, still in the barracks, the team mourns the death of 99, saying that they lost a true soldier, and that he really was one of them. Outside, Rex and Cody once again commend Fives and Echo, and they tell them that they're being made ARC troopers. So here they are in their ARC trooper armor. Fives and Echo are both upgraded to ARC troopers, and they are giving new training and ARC trooper armor, which is sometimes called Phase 1.5, because it has the Phase 2 helmet with the Phase 1 fin at the top. Right here. So, Phase 1.5, sometimes this ARC trooper armor is called. You can see it right here as well. Anyways, so now they're ARC troopers, and they went on missions in the Outer Rim, which are only extremely briefly mentioned in canon, but their next real canonical mission is the assault on the Citadel. Jedi Master Evan Peel was captured by the Separatists and held at a prison known as the Citadel on the planet Lola Sayu. The Republic launched a rescue mission because he had vital information on a hyperspace route known as the Nexus Routes, which the Republic needed and couldn't allow the Separatists to obtain. Anakin and Obi-Wan led the infiltration team, of which Fives and Echo were a part, and they froze themselves in carbonite to sneak past the life form sensors. The team scaled the Citadel wall using ascension cables, at which point a clone named Charger fell and hit a mine, alerting the droids and the prison warden, Sobek. They fought their way through the prison and found Peel, and when they freed him, he told them Captain Tarkin has the other half of the route memorized, so they subsequently rescued him. And yes, that's the same Tarkin from the original trilogy. They then decided to split up to keep the information separate, and Echo and Fives went with Anakin and Tarkin. They were pursued by the Separatist forces through the tunnels of the Citadel, and when they reached the landing pad, it had been created into a trap, and more droids attacked. Echo and Fives, and the rest of the team, fought on the landing pad, and during the firefight, Echo saw a droid moving towards a laser turret to destroy the shuttle, and after Anakin failed to take out the turret, Echo moved forward with a riot shield and pistol to try himself. Unfortunately, the droid was still able to fire upon the shuttle, and Echo was caught in the explosion and presumed dead. He was not dead, however, and was captured by the Separatists. We'll get back to that in a bit. Fives and the others fled the airfield, and Jedi Master Peel was killed in the ensuing fights. However, he transferred his intel to Anakin's Padawan, Ahsoka. In the final attack, Sobek himself showed up, and Fives was able to shoot him off his speeder, and Ahsoka finished him off, rescuing Tarkin. The Republic, now engaged in a space battle above, arrived, and Jedi Plo Koon came to the surface in a gunship to evacuate Fives and the team, completing the mission. Chapter 4: Fives Alone and Conspiracy. Despite the sad death of his comrade, and being the only remaining member of Domino Squad in the Grand Army of the Republic, Fives continued to fight valiantly in the 501st. The war takes him, and the rest of the 501st, to the shadowy world of Umbara, where, unlike the usual where the clones are fighting Separatist droids, the humanoid Umbarans themselves are the combatants. The Republic landed a two-pronged assault on Umbara, with Kenobi and the 212th in the south, while Anakin and the 501st landed in the north. During the initial onslaught of the clones towards the trenches, Fives and Hardcase, who is another clone, are attacked by a tentacle plant called a Vixis, and Fives is able to use a grenade to destroy it and continue forward. After a hard-fought battle, Anakin, Rex, Fives, and the 501st gain a foothold in the trenches. Unfortunately for the 501st, Jedi Master Pong Krill arrives on the battlefield and informs Anakin that he has been ordered to return to Coruscant, taking over command of the battalion himself. Despite his fantastic combat record, Krill shows little to no concern for the lives of the clones of the 501st, constantly sending them to their death and hanging back to watch. Fives was often the primary force of opposition against Krell and his reckless leadership. While engaged in a full frontal assault of an Umbaran airfield, the clones are being annihilated by their enemy when Rex finally allows Fives and Hardcase to try a different plan, stealing Umbaran fighters to use in the battle. Fives and Hardcase successfully use the fighters in the battle. However, later, Krell forbade the clones from attempting to use them again. Captain Rex constantly struggled with balancing following orders from Krell and keeping the battalion together, with Fives regularly advocating to go against Krell. Later, Fives, Jesse, and Hardcase once again commandeered the Umbaran fighters against orders, while Rex covered for them. They flew inside the Separatist supply ship in orbit, and Hardcase sacrificed himself to destroy the ship, delivering a bomb by hand, which shifted the tide of battle across the planet. Despite that, Krell is still enraged and throws Fives and Jesse into cells when they return to have them court-martialed. He eventually decides there is no time to wait, and that they need to be executed now. On the execution line, Fives gives a speech and says, "Wait, this is wrong, and we all know it. The general is making a mistake, and he needs to be called on it. No clone should have to go out this way. We're loyal soldiers. We follow orders, but we are not a bunch of unthinking droids. We are men, and we must be trusted to make the right decisions, especially when the orders we are given are wrong." The clones fire and intentionally miss, and Krell does not have time to fix their transgression before he informs the 501st that the Umbarans have stolen 212th armor and sends them out to attack. Halfway through the battle, Rex discovers that this was a ploy, and the 501st and the 212th were killing each other. Led by Rex, the 501st and the 212th return, release Fives and Jesse, and confront Krell. Krell admits to their accusations, and a deadly fight breaks out. However, the clones eventually manage to subdue him using another one of those Vixis carnivorous plants. When the clones find out that the Umbarans are on the way, they decide they need to execute Krell, who is hoping to join the Separatists and Dooku. Rex hesitates to shoot him, and Dogma, a clone that was originally very loyal to Krell, ends up being the one who finally takes the shot. After the battle, Rex and Fives talk about what the point of all this is, and their concern over when the war is going to end, and even what is going to happen to them when it does end. Anyways, we're now getting into the later years of the Clone Wars, and what will be the sad ending of Fives' story, albeit with a silver lining. The 501st and Fives were deployed on Ringo Vinda, fighting the Separatists under Admiral Trench, and they were particularly inside of a large circular space station that surrounded the entire planet. One of Fives' friends and fellow clones, Dup, suddenly fired on and killed a Jedi named Templar, saying, "Good soldiers follow orders." Fives tackled him to the ground and restrained him. And back at base, Top had no idea what had happened, or what he did, but he was still saying good soldiers follow orders, and even tried to attack another Jedi. They decide to send him off planet to discover what is happening, but his shuttle is attacked by droids and he is captured because Admiral Trench witnessed the execution and reported it to Dooku. Fives, Anakin and Rex head to the Separatist hangar where Tup is being held, spacewalking around the outside to infiltrate quietly. Fives thinks of an idea to use a grappling gun as the ship is passing overhead to attack it, and the plan works. They are able to rescue Tup, and this time Rex orders Fives to stay with Tup at all times. Tup and Fives arrive on Kamino, and the Kaminoans begin running hyper tests, looking for infections or viruses, and find nothing. And when he awakes, he still has the drive to kill Jedi. This time, Shakti. Fives is isolated and kept in the dark the whole time. Fives finds out from the droid, AZ 345-211-896246 49872-1347, or just AZ for short, about the atomic brain scan that the Kaminoans don't wish to do because they are aware of the chips in Order 66. Fives eventually convinces the droid to go through with the atomic brain scan against protocol. They perform the scan and discover what looks like a tumor. However, they are interrupted and later create a false intruder alert so they can return to Tup's room. They remove the tumor, and the Kaminoan Nala Se and Shakti enter as Tup dies and says to Fives, "Forget the mission. Oh, the nightmare. I'm finally free." Much to the dismay of Fives. Palpatine requests that the chip be sent back to Coruscant, and Shakti plans to bring it to the Jedi Order first, so Nala Se switches the samples. Also, Fives hears that his mind is slated to be erased, so he breaks out, takes the case containing the chip that was swapped, so he has the real chip, commandeers a ship as a diversion, and heads back inside the city. Fives knocks out a shiny clone and takes his white armor, and he and AZ are able to get the chip analyzed and find out that it is a partially inorganic chip placed there, not a tumor. Fives then has AZ scan his own head, and they also find and remove a chip. Comparing it to Tup's chip, they find that Tup's was decayed and malfunctioned, while Fives was fully intact. AZ also says that the chip was most likely implanted when the clones were embryos, and they head to the cloning chambers and examine an embryo to confirm their suspicions that every single clone has the chip. Nala Se arrives and explains that the inhibitor chips are placed in clones to limit aggressive behavior, and when Shakti arrives, Fives holds Nala Se at gunpoint. Fives explains the situation to Shakti, and she agrees to go to Coruscant with him to discuss the situation directly with Palpatine. Also, it's worth noting that throughout the story, the Kaminoans and Nala Nalase consistently referred to Fives and the clones as property or hardware, which Fives condemns and has strong reactions against. Sounds like a very common theme with Fives, as you heard with his speech to the clones on the execution line. On the ship to Coruscant, Nalase injects Fives with some sort of chemical or drug that clouds his mind. And during the meeting on Coruscant, when Nalase and Shakti stepped out, Palpatine provoked Fives. It's not immediately clear in the episode who attacked first, but it seems like Palpatine did, and Fives acted in self-defense. However, when Shakti and Nalase rushed into the room, Palpatine played innocent, and Fives had to flee the chamber. Fives eventually arrived at the Clone Bar 79's, where he found Kix, a medic in the 501st, and convinced him that there's a conspiracy, and to set up a meeting with Anakin and Rex. Anakin and Rex head to the meeting spot, and at the same time, Fives is spotted by the Coruscant guards' probes while waiting for them. Fives captures Rex and Anakin in a ray shield so he can talk to them, and he explains with a lot of emotion that he has been framed. There's a massive plot that exists in every clone's head, and that they could even kill all the Jedi. While they are talking, Commander Fox and the Coruscant guard arrive, and Fives reaches for a weapon, so Commander Fox shoots him. They disable the ray shield, and Rex goes to Fives' side. So there's Rex and Fives. It is white armor that he stole. So Rex goes to Fives' side, and Fives says in his dying breaths, "Brother, Rex, it's bigger than any of us, than anything I could have imagined. I never meant to. I only wanted to do my duty. The mission, the nightmares, they're finally over." So that's quite a tragic end to Fives. He predicted Order 66 and went nearly insane trying to prove it, only for Palpatine to sweep it under the rug, claiming it was a parasite native to Ringo Vinda. But there is a silver lining, like I said. Rex made a report on the inhibitor chips and everything that Fives said. And during Order 66, when his own chip was activated, he was able to tell Ahsoka Tano to refine the report he made on Fives, saving their lives and allowing Rex to remove his chip. Chapter 5: Echo and the Bad Batch. Okay, so now we'll circle back around to Echo to finish up this lore episode. And I'll go pretty quick here, since there's a ton of content in the Bad Batch era. While fighting on Anaxis and taking major losses, Rex noted many of the strategies he made with Echo were being strategically countered time and time again, and he wanted to assault a separatist cyber center on the planet to find out more. is a nod to the original 99 on Kamino. Clone Force 99 was a group of 4 enhanced clones. So we have Hunter, Tech, Crosshair, and Wrecker. And there's Echo that we'll talk about in a second. And they often went on sort of special and difficult missions. So anyways, they team up with Rex and Cody and attack the Cyber Center. And Rex identified that the strategic signal source was CT-1409, also known as Echo, on the planet Skako Minor. Anakin, Rex, and the Bad Batch went to Skako Minor, a techno-union planet, fought the droids there, and eventually found Echo in stasis, although now extremely pale, part cybernetic, and with a computer socket instead of his right arm. He had survived the explosion at the Citadel, and the Separatists had been using him for strategy ever since. Anyways, they fought their way off the planet and back to a Nexus. And there they devised a plan for Echo to transmit false strategies to Admiral Trench. They infiltrated his command ship, and Echo plugged into the ship's computer and instructed Trench to group all the droids together, then sent a feedback pulse to destroy them all. Also, Echo found a bomb at Jedi Master Mace Windu's position, which he helped disarm until the last character. When Trench discovered Echo in the system and disabled him, Anakin went to the bridge and forced the final sequence out of Trench, and the team destroyed the ship after fleeing. After the battle, Hunter invited Echo to join Clone Force 99, and Rex told Echo that if that's where he feels his place is, that's where he belongs. Echo decides to join the Bad Batch and turns to salute Captain Rex one last time before departing. So, there's Echo saluting Captain Rex one last time. So then, Echo got himself his own Bad Batch armor with his signature colors of black, gray, and red. Albeit, I'm sad to say that he didn't keep the handprint on his chest. There's no handprint. The Bad Batch continues to fight for the Republic until one day they find themselves on the planet Caller, battling droids, and Order 66 is executed by Palpatine. It seems like most of the members of the Bad Batch aren't affected, except for Crosshair, who is very aggressive towards killing the Jedi Padawan Caleb Doom, who would eventually become Kanan Jarrus in the show Rebels. However, Hunter allowed Caleb to escape. They return to Kamino and find a huge shift in atmosphere and personality of all the clones, just as Fives predicted, and they run into a young female clone of Jango named Omega. Tarkin puts the Bad Batch to the test, first in an arena where they succeed, and then off-planet to send to slaughter some anti-Empire groups, namely Saw Gerrera. And when all refuse except Crosshair, Tarkin sees the events unfold with a probe droid. Back on Kamino, the Bad Batch is imprisoned, is removed from the group to get the effects of his inhibitor chip boosted, while the rest, including our main man Echo, escape with Omega. Crosshair would go on to join the Empire fully and lead the elite squad troopers, which are conscripts in black Phase 2 armor. The Bad Batch visit Cutler Quain on Seleucami, an old friend of Rex, and discuss the inhibitor chips, and they then help Cut and his family off-world, and Echo used his socket arm to generate chain codes for them. Later, the Bad Batch, particularly Omega, are chased by Fennec Shand, a bounty hunter hired to recover her for the Kaminoans. And eventually they set up their long-term base of operations on the planet Ord Mantell, working for a female Trandoshan named Sid. They do a job for Sid that sends them to a droid factory, and they run into the Martez sisters. And the only reason I'm really mentioning this is because one of the sisters, who had just had her exact idea repeated back to her by her sister, said, "Is there an Echo in here?" And Echo comes up and responds, "Yes." Which I thought was kind of funny. We also see Wrecker beginning to struggle against the inhibitor chip, starting to say, "Good soldiers follow orders before snapping out of it." Rex is informed about the Bad Batch via the sisters, and he tracks them down on Ord Mantell. And they discuss the chips and head to Braca to find a Venator Star Destroyer, Medbay, and have all of their chips removed. During the procedure, Wrecker executes Order 66, but he is stunned by Rex, and his chip is removed, along with the rest of the teams. Echo does not have his chip removed, which most likely means it was removed or deactivated by the Separatists while he was in captivity. Captain Rex heads out, and the team is spotted by scrappers that inform the Empire of their presence. Crosshair arrives, and a long fight ensues, including the team trying to convince Crosshair he has a chip and is being manipulated. The fight culminates with Crosshair getting badly burned, and with the arrival of famed bounty hunter Cad Bane, who is able to outdraw Hunter and kidnap Omega. Cad Bane and Fennec Shand end up fighting at the Kaminoan rendezvous point, so Omega manages to escape and reunite with the Bad Batch. The Bad Batch and Echo later fight on Ryloth, which is notably significant because we see a clone, Captain Hauser, who disobeys the Empire to help them, showing the inhibitor chips may be wearing off or malfunctioning. They also head to the planet Darrow at the request of Rex, where they find the clone commando Gregor and help him escape captivity, while also witnessing that the Empire is training new units that are fully conscripted. Hunter then misses the jump to get into the evac ship and is captured by Crosshair. The Bad Batch head to Kamino to rescue him, where they find their old genetic lab that they were modified in, and run into the same AZ droid that worked with Fives. They meet up with Crosshair, who tries to convince them members to show he is sincere. Hunter tries to tell Crosshair he needs to remove his chip, but Crosshair reveals his was already removed, and he has been acting under his own free will. Hunter stuns Crosshair, and meanwhile, the Empire begins bombarding Taboka City, since they have no use for it any longer. The Bad Batch and Crosshair end up working together to escape the destroyed, sunken city. And back on the remote landing pad, they make one last plea with Crosshair to come with them. He declines, and the Bad Batch and Echo depart Kamino, leaving Crosshair behind. And so ends the story of Echo for now. But Season 2 of The Bad Batch is on the way, so we'll definitely get more content about him. I'm not sure what will be the end or the fate of Echo, but since none of the Bad Batch appear later in the Star Wars timeline, Echo nor any of the team have plot armor, which makes the future both unknown and exciting, since they could die at any time. So, anyways guys, that is the story of Domino Squad, which, as you heard, Domino Squad itself was quite short-lived, but the two surviving members, Fives and Echo, went on to have quite long and event-filled careers. So, anyways, let me know what you guys thought of this episode, and feel free to provide any feedback or suggestions as always. If you want to check out more lore videos, I'll link some in the description down below, so feel free to check those out. I'll link the previous one, which is a facts lore video, and some similar Clone Wars ones, like one about Ahsoka, Maul, and Mandalore. So go check those out if you want more lore. And I also have a lore playlist that I'll link as well. But anyways guys, as always, thanks everyone for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed